How's it going, y'all? Joseph with Zarate Steelworks again, and I'm excited to tell you about a product that we've had in development that we're super excited to be releasing. Our brand new cold air intake for the Polaris SlingShot model years 2020 on up is done, and we're going to show you today how to install it on your SlingShot and how easy it is. So definitely take a seat, watch along, and get ready for this ride. All right, y'all, before we go ahead and get started, we want to let you know about the proper tools needed to get this installation done. You're going to want to utilize a flathead screwdriver, as well as a ratchet and extension to help with some of those tight spaces. You're also going to be using a Torx 25, Torx 40, and an 8mm socket, which is optional, but I'm going to show you why when doing the install. Now let's go ahead and get our tools and start removing this. All right, y'all. Now that we're over here by the SlingShot, we're first going to want to start off by coming down here and locating this sensor on top of the box. Once you see it right here, you're going to want to disconnect this wiring harness and pull that off. Now that you have that off, we're going to start by taking this Torx 25 to remove this fastener, and we're going to start backing that out. Now, as we start backing this out, folks, I wanted to tell y'all how critical it is to keep track of every component whenever you're working on your vehicle. With that being said, you'll notice that I have myself a little tray over here, and that's where I'm going to go ahead and keep this stored. Because again, you don't want to be looking for anything as you're working around on your vehicle. Now that that's done, we're going to move over to removing this sensor simply by pulling it straight up. And moreover, once you have this out, again, you want to make sure that you take proper care of it because it is rather sensitive. So we're going to place this over here on the mat as well. Next off, we're going to start by removing this hose clamp, and that's when I was telling you about this flathead screwdriver. You can go ahead and fit it in right here and start working it out. But if you'd like to move a little bit more efficiently like how we do at the shop, that's when I was talking about that 8mm. You'll simply place it right on over, and once done, we'll start taking this bad boy off. Now that made quick work of that, we'll start by shimmying this on off. And now that it's off, we'll go ahead and get into the next step of the installation process. Now that we've had this taken off, we're going to start by disengaging these clips the full way around the cover. That way, once we have them off, we'll lift straight up, and this will give us easy access to the bolts without having to work around something. Now we're going to go ahead and get our ratchet with that extension and that Torx 40, because again, it does make easier work of this. And if you go ahead and move this loom right on over, you'll see this fastener as well as this one, and there's one more in the front that we're going to go ahead and show you. But once you go ahead and locate where they're at, we're going to start removing these. And as we go ahead and take these off again, I like to say, folks, it is critical to keep track of everything as you work. So as we loosen these out, we're just going to back them off ever so lightly. That way that we can go ahead and keep track of all our hardware as we go. Alrighty, y'all. Now that we've got that one off, we're gonna move over to the front. And again, it's a little bit harder to go ahead and access, but nevertheless, we do have them here. And that's why I said using an extension does make for quick work of these tight spaces. There we go. All right, and now that we've had those backed off, let's go ahead and pull this out. All right, folks, now that we've got these fasteners loosened up, before we go ahead and remove the box, we're gonna wanna go ahead and cut where this loom is connected to there. So we're just gonna clip it right there and clip it right here. Now that we've gotten that out, we'll go ahead and pull this up and outwards. And again, like I said, we want to make sure that we hold on to everything. So once that we have this out, let's take this hardware and we'll simply place it on our tray. That way that we don't go ahead and lose track of it. Now again, you're going to have 3 fasteners, folks, so be mindful of how many you went ahead and started with, because you're going to make sure you finish with just the same. Now that we've gotten this out of the way, let's go ahead and showcase how we're going to install your brand new ZSW cold air intake. Alrighty, folks, so you'll notice that we still have this part of your kit outside of the SlingShot, and the reason being is because it's much easier for you to reinstall this sensor with the hardware supplied while it's outside of the vehicle. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to get that sensor back, and I'll show you the proper orientation right here. We got the big and small hole right there. Now we're gonna get this in and we're gonna snap that in past the O-ring. And like I said, you'll be supplied this hardware right here. So we're gonna start finger tightening it down. And once it's through, what you'll be using is a 10mm and a 1/8 Allen to tighten this the whole way down. Now that we've got that finger tight, we're gonna get on in here and then we're gonna start working it down. And as we go ahead and tighten this down, you wanna make sure that you don't over tighten it. So as we go ahead and come to where we feel a little bit more resistance, we're gonna go ahead and stop right there, because again, we do care about maintaining the security and integrity of that sensor. Now that we have that here, we're gonna come over to the SlingShot, and we're gonna show you one more step that is critical to go ahead and get proper fitment with this being done. So we'll walk on over. And as we get here towards the SlingShot, you'll notice right here when we come through to fit it, there's this piece of rubber that's gonna extend off this hose for your intake. Now, in order to go ahead and ensure proper fitment to maintain this being flushed, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna take our cutters and we're gonna cut this bad boy off. So as I go ahead and come across like this, now again, we wanna make sure that we get a nice clean cut to ensure proper fitment. All right. Okay, let's get this cut. Here we go. And once it's cut through, we'll go ahead and come back with our intake and make sure that we got it nicely tucked in the whole way through. All right, folks, now that we've got this cut off of the hose, we're gonna go ahead and give you a useful tip that's gonna help you utilize getting this all put back together. Now, right now, before we get this in, I wanna showcase these mounting points that are gonna be utilized for your new kit, one in the front and one in the rear. And I'm gonna bring this over. And another thing that I wanna touch on too, is that we do know that some of y'all might have some customization done to your SlingShot, meaning that you may have to work around a couple of looms here and there. But nevertheless, we're gonna take our hardware and we're gonna start working these in. And as we go ahead and tighten those in, we'll start by hand tightening them. And as we hand tighten those down, now it might be rather difficult, but nevertheless, just work with it and you'll feel it catch. Now that we've got that caught in the front, we'll go ahead and start working on the back. And again, folks, like anything, it's always good to keep track of your hardware. Because as we said before, you're gonna start with 3, you'll only use 2, but you wanna make sure that you don't end up with a missing one. So we'll take count at the end of the day. Now that we have that finger tightened, like I said, this is gonna help get this on a lot easier so you can have something to push up against. And here we go, folks. And since we removed that piece, now it's gonna sit nice and flush. And with that sitting flush, we can start working on getting this hose clamp tightened down. All right, folks, as we work to go ahead and get this hose clamp tightened down, we're gonna make sure that everything's fastened nice and tight for a secure fit. So we're gonna come back with our torque 40 and get towards that base plate of our cold air intake. We got that front one torqued down, and let's go ahead and go towards the back fastener. And then once we got those all the way nice and snug, we're gonna remember to plug back in our sensor. So we're gonna grab this right here, find the proper orientation, and make sure that we plug that back in. All right, now that we got that snapped in, we can go ahead and talk about something really, really exciting that we're gonna be offering with our brand new cold air intakes. All right, folks, so as I said before, there was something really exciting I want to tell you about our brand new kits, and that's going to be over here at Zarate Steelworks. We teamed up with K&N because they have a proven track record of not only helping you with your air filter needs, but also adding performance to your vehicle. So with that being said, when you order your brand new kit from us today, you have the option of adding this awesome K&N filter to it as well, being ultra reliable, meaning that it is washable, so you can reuse it for a lifetime, folks. Now I'm going to take this bad boy right here and go ahead and get it installed on the vehicle. That way we can finish up this process. Now, as we go ahead and come along, again, we're going to utilize our 8mm to tighten this bad boy down because it does make things a little bit quicker. And once I got that in, I'm just going to start tightening it over. And then here we go, folks. Once I've gotten it nice and secure, we're gonna go ahead and give it a nice shake. Good jostle, because you know what, we are gonna be using this for the road, and it looks like we are done, folks. Now let me go ahead and close up the front of this hood real fast. That way we can signify that we've got a job well done. But again, folks, this is Joseph with Zarate Steelworks, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for following along through this install process. If you'd like to get yours ordered today, you can definitely do so by visiting our website, or if you have any questions, contact us via email or give us a call on our toll-free line. But once more, this is Joseph with Zarate Steelworks. Thanks for watching. You have a great rest of your day.